Hey, welcome everybody. You're joining our 1979 Mets replay. This is game 71. It's a three-game set versus the Chicago Cubs in Wrigley Field. In tonight's ball game, it's going to pit two aces. Cubs pitcher Rick Reuschel, he's a right-hander, 30 years old, against the Mets ace, right-hander Craig Swan, 29 years old. Now, Rick Reuschel in 1979 was 18 and 12 with a 3.62 ERA, while his counterpart Craig Swan was 14 and 13 with a 3.29 ERA. And we're right about to get started. And I'll go over quickly the lineup for the Mets. It's Youngblood leading it off in right field. Taveras at short, Frankie Taveras, ex-Pirate. Lee Mazzilli, center fielder. Richie Hebner, the third baseman, another ex-Pirate. John Stearns, the catcher. Willie Montanez, first baseman. Steve Henderson in left, and Doug Flynn at second base. And the pitcher hitting card for Swan will be a 3. We'll pull that right now. We're looking for a 3 and a 5. A 3 and a 5, here they are. So it's going to go in the back end there. And this is going to be Reuschel. And we're ready to roll. So let's get, here's the first pitch. And we have a 10-inch screen to our right that we're using iScore. It's a free app. You can download it. I have a couple of tutorials on how to do that and set it up for the for tabletop games. And I'm waiting for the crowd noise to get started here. We're using a different crowd noise. I've had some issues. This sounds pretty good. Let's see. All right, here's the first pitch. And that's a tough pitch, 0-4, and that's a strikeout. Youngblood goes after the high heat. Next pitch is in play, 15, and that's line. Base hit, Frank Taveras. Frank Taveras is a dangerous man to have on base because he did steal 42 bases, was caught 19 times. And he's a 6 or less, and he goes. And we rolled a 6, so he will be going, and the catcher's arm, Barry Foote, it's a 3 arm, so we're looking at a 3C is normal, I believe, or a C3, normal, and it's a stolen base and a potential error. Let's look at his error rating. And Barry Foote's error rating is a 2, so anything above a 2, 3 to 6 is going to be an error, and that's a 2, so it is not an error. It's just a stolen base, I believe. And we'll double check that. We'll look at the chart. There it is. Stolen base, runner, wild throw. Runner advances one base. If the result is equal or less than the catcher's E rating, no error, runner safe with a stolen base. Boom. So I'm getting better at these rules. This is my game 71, and I played a couple of replays. I did 2 DeGrom replays, which was about 30 starts each, and then I did a Cologne replay, which was another 30 starts. So I'm at about 160 games, but there's a very steep learning curve for me. All right, so that's a stolen base. It's a stolen base for Taveras. This crowd is very energetic. This is like a World Series type crowd. I have to lower that a little bit. They're spooking me out here. All right. So Frank Taveras steals second, and with 1 out, it's Lee Mazzilli. Lee Mazzilli is the Mets' best batter at, I think, 323. And that's a 9. That's patient, a patient 63. And that's going to be a long single into the gap in center field. Runner on second scores. RBI single for Lee Mazzilli, and the Mets are up 1-0. And Mazzilli's also a threat to steal. Let's look at his situation. And his situation is a 5 or less, and he goes, and we roll a 6, so he does not. Richie Hebner, the batter. The pitch to Hebner, that's 10, in play, 78. That's going to be outrange. That's going to be a fly ball driven to center, but back a few steps is Martin and makes the catch. John Stearns. Oh, wait a second. Come back here. Where did you go? Took off on me. Luckily we have a replacement. All right, that's a 9. And that's a patient 43. Patient 43 is going to be a long single into the gap to center field. Runner on first. Advances one base, but if there's two outs, Mazzilli has 6 or more, so he's going to get to third. And it's first and third now in the bottom half of the first inning, in the top half of the first inning, excuse me. And it's Willie Montanez. Left-handed first baseman steps in the box of the pitch. It's a tough pitch, 0-5, and Willie down on strikes, curveball, got him. And that retires the side. But the Mets pick up 1 run on 3 hits, and now they lead it by a score of 1-0. We go to the bottom half of the first. It's Ivan De Jesus. Ivan De Jesus versus righties. Batted .287, pretty decent batting average. That's a 6. In play, 18. That's line. Base hit. De Jesus lines it to left. Steve Henderson gets it in quickly. And De Jesus is a threat to steal. He was 24-20. And he runs on a 4 or less, and we roll a 9, so he does not go. Scott Thompson, left-handed right fielder. Not a very good right field arm. Pretty. You want him lower out there. Lower is better. It's better center field arm. All right, here's the pitch to Thompson, and that's a 9. Ballpark 14. All right. Ballpark 14 on a lefty is within wheelhouse. So we're going to roll for wheelhouse here against a righty. 1-38 is a hit. We roll a 42. That's outside the hit range. It's going to be a ground ball to first baseman Montanez. This may go for 2. I doubt it, though. No, it does not. But Montanez does throw to Taveras. Back to first. Not in time. It's a fielder's choice. 3-6. And De Jesus out at second. And Thompson is a threat to steal as well, so we're going to roll for him, and we're looking at 3 or less. Nope. Bill Buckner, left-handed hitting first baseman. That's a tough 13, and that's a strikeout. Buckner down on strikes. High heat got him. Went after the midnight snack cheese sandwich. And it's Dave Kingman. Dave Kingman, known as King Kong Kingman, for his either a home run or a strikeout. 3, defense, 31. 31, there's no wild pitch there. Error shortstop. And we're going to see what Taveras is at short. At short, he's a 3 error. So we look at 3, a 1-36, so that's going to be within his error range. And that's a 1 base error. Scott moves to second. So he boots it, and there's runners on first and second now with 2 outs. And Jerry Martin, right-handed, hitting center fielder. Here's the pitch from Swan, 11, patient 95. It's going to be in the out range. That's Sky to left. Henderson, side retired. Top of the second. Stevie Henderson. In play 20. Line drive, base hit to left. And that's Kingman. Throws it in. All right, Doug Flynn. Actually, Henderson may run, so we got to roll for him to run. Anything low. 6 is not low enough. And Doug Flynn, the batter. That's 4. Patient 40. Patient 40 is going to be in an out range. It's going to be a ground ball to first base. And Buckner is going to go to De Jesus and back to Buckner for a 3-6-3 double play. 2 out. And it's Craig Swan. He's a 3. That's a 6. A tough 92. That's going to be a fly to left, shallow. In comes left fielder Kingman, makes the catch. Side retired. Go to the bottom half of the second. It's 1-0 Mets. Pitch from Swan to Steve Olivares. and that's ballpark 82. He's a switch hitter, so he'll be batting lefty. So that's above the range. So we're looking at a in play roll, and that's a 74. That's going to be an out, and that's lined and caught by the second baseman Flynn. One away. Swan sets and deals. Barry Foote steps in the box. 5 in play, 32. Popped up, left side. Hebner, foul territory, makes the catch, 2 away. Ted Sizemore steps in the box. Craig Swan the pitch, and that's a 9. Ballpark 33. That's going to be wheelhouse. Wheelhouse 1 to 36, 51. And that's a fly ball to right. Youngblood back a few steps, makes the catch, and that retires the side. Now we should see some long ball in this game because of Wrigley Field. If you look at Wrigley Field as to be in the wheelhouse, 1 to 86 for righties and 1 to 69 for lefties. Now Houston is the exact opposite of that. The Astrodome is like 1 to 11. Exactly. So they got to do a lot of bunting and a lot of base stealing. All right, so Youngblood, who's 0 for 1, he steps in the box, and here's the pitch from Reuschel. That's a 66. Ballpark 71. A righty. That's going to be wheelhouse. 1 to 22 is home run. 1 to 47 is a hit, and that's an 80. My goodness. And that's a deep fly ball to center field. Back goes Martin to the track and makes the running catch on the warning track. Jerry Martin got a great jump on that ball, and it was hit a ton. All right, here's Frank Taveras, who's 1 for 1. That's a 10. That's in play 69. Ground ball, second base. Sizemore throws out Taveras, 2 away. Lee Mazzilli. Defense 64. That may be it's range shortstop. De Jesus has a range of a D. 1 to 61, we roll a 64, so that's a ball that, let's see what kind of out that is. It's a ground ball out, 6-3, and that retires the side. All right, so Craig Swan is facing the pitcher, Rick Reuschel. Rick Reuschel is a 5. And 11, patient 0-2. That's going to be a base on balls. So Reuschel manages a walk off Swan. And it's Ivan De Jesus, 5, in play 27. And that's going to be a single. Sharp liner drops in front of the left fielder. Runner at first advances 1 base, first and second. And it's Scott Thompson. Scott Thompson is an F bunter, so he won't be bunting here. And it's a 7 tough. Oh, goodness. Jesus. A tough 7 is a tough 79. A tough 79 is a fly ball center field, 1 away. Bill Buckner now. 6 in play 42. And it's going to be an out. Ground ball, third base. A 6 is double play. 5, 4, 3, round the horn, double play. That's Hebner to Flynn to Montanez. And that retires the side. Ground ball, 5, 4, 3. In the top half of the 4th inning, it's a 1-0 Mets lead, and it's Richie Hebner. In play 72, and that's lifted to center. Jerry Martin puts it away, 1 down. John Stearns, who's 1 for 1, he's singled. Here's the pitch. It's in play 33, and that's going to be a pop-up to left side. Olivares calls it. Makes the catch, 2 down. Montanez in play 30, and that's going to be popped up to the first baseman. And Buckner's there, and that retires the side. 3 up, 3 down. Go to the bottom half of the fourth inning. Swan versus Kingman. Here's the pitch to Kingman. And that's a 7, a tough 56. It's a strikeout. Kingman down on strikes. Now Kingman 1-73 against righties and 1-79 against lefties is a strikeout. Here's Jerry Martin, who's 0 for 1. That's 9. That's ballpark 71. A right-hander. That's going to be wheelhouse. Wheelhouse 1-44, and we roll a 38. That's going to be a line drive, base hit to left. So Martin may run on this. Martin had 2 stolen bases, so it's probably like a 3. Yep. No, we didn't get it. So let's move on. And that's what, an 8. An 8 is tough. A tough 45 is going to be a base hit on Averis. Line drive into center. Runner advances 1 base. First and second. And stepping in the box is Barry Foote, right-handed hitting catcher. He's 0 for 1. He's flied out. There's only 1 out here. Runners on first and second. Here's the pitch to Foote. That's 9. Ballpark again, 90. But that's going to be out of wheelhouse range, and it's going to be into the in-play range. And we roll a 29, in-play 29, and that's going to be a pop-up to the right side. Montanez in foul ground makes the catch, 2 away. And it's Ted Sizemore. Sizemore is 0 for 1. He's flied out. Here's the pitch. That's ballpark 66. And right-handed, that's going to be wheelhouse. Wheelhouse 1-36 is a hit. We roll a 36 exactly. And that's going to be a single. And runner on second scores. Runners advance 1 base, but if Oliveras is a 6 or more, let's look. And he is not, so he's going to stop at second. But that's an RBI single by Ted Sizemore, and it's a tie ball game. Pitcher now. Reuschel is a 5. That's 8, tough 37. Strikeout. And the side is retired. So 1-1 ball game. The Cubs pick up 1 run in the bottom half of the fourth. And to lead off the fifth is going to be Henderson, followed by Flynn and then Swan. Here's the pitch from Reuschel. That's 3, wheelhouse 65. Wheelhouse 65, that's outrange. Ground ball second base, Ted Sizemore. 1 down. Doug Flynn. 9, patient 85. And that's grounded to short. Up with it, fires to first, 2 down. And Craig Swan. And that's a 4, that's patient 94. And that's going to be a high pop-up to left field. Back goes Oliveras, back goes De Jesus, and in comes left fielder Kingman, who calls everybody off and makes the catch. 3 up, 3 down. Swan against De Jesus. Here's the pitch. That's 10. Patient 53. Patient 53, and that's lined. Base hit. De Jesus may run. See if he does. We're looking 4 or less. And we roll a 5, so he does not go. Scott Thompson. And that's 4 in play 14. In play 14. Say single. Runner advances question mark, but we're going to advance him only one base right now. So runners on first and second. We're in the bottom half of the fifth inning. It's a 1-1 ball game. Scott Thompson is on at first, and Ivan De Jesus is on at second. There are nobody outs. Craig Swan is on the mound, and stepping in the box is Bill Buckner. Bill Buckner is the third place hitter, so he's a well-respected hitter. And Buckner batted .295 versus right-handers. Here's the pitch to Buckner. That's a 7. That's tough. A tough 66. A tough 66. It's going to be a ground ball to short. This may be a double play. 7, double play there, double play there. 6-4-3, double play. 2 outs. 6-4-3. Big double play turned by the Mets. De Jesus advances to third. And we have 2 outs, runner on third, and it's Dave Kingman. Here's a pitch to Dave Kingman. And that's an 8, tough 23, and that's a strikeout. So Swan gets serious after letting the first 2 men get on base. And he gets ground ball for a double play, and then he strikes out Kingman. Joe Youngblood, the batter, against Rick Reuschel. That's a 4. That's patient 83. And that's grounded to short, 6-3, put out. Frankie Taveras, who's 1 for 2. That's a 9, patient 53. A patient 53 is outside of hit range. And it's going to be a ground ball to third. Taveras has to get rid of it quickly with Taveras running and gets him by half a step. 2 away. Lee Mazzilli. That's 11, defense 74. That's out of defensive range. It's going to be a shortstop. And what kind of an out to short? It's going to be a ground ball to short. Now, I know some new players. On one of the forums, we're talking about how they're still trying to learn all the boards and how to find out what kind of a out it is and all that. I told them, order the fast action cards. Order the fast action cards and all your problems will be solved. I haven't looked at a board yet, by the way. And what are we in the bottom half of the 6th inning? Let's get the crowd going back into this game here. Let me find the cursor. There it is. I got about a 17-inch laptop to my left with the crowd noise playing. All right. It's going to be Jerry Martin, who's 1 for 2. Here's the pitch from Craig Swan. We're in the bottom of the 6th. It's a 1-1 game. 6 in play, 80. That's going to be an outrange fly ball, center field. Mazzilli squeezes it. Steve Taveras. That's a tough 62, tough pitch, 62. Can't do anything with it. Sky to right. Youngblood, 2 away. And Barry Foote. And that's in play, 74. And that's line to center field, but Mazzilli's right there, puts it away, and that retires the side. 3 up, 3 down. We go to the top half of the 7th. It's the Mets. Hebner leading it off with Stearns and then Montanez. Here's the pitch from Reuschel. Hebner's 0 for 2 on the day. That's a 7, in play 50. And that's an out, grounded to third. Taveras fires the first. 1 down. John Stearns, who's 1 for 2. Snake Eyes Ballpark, 42. That's going to be wheelhouse. Wheelhouse, 1 to 38. Is it going to be a hit? And we roll a 66. Wow. And that's going to be a ground ball, second base. Sizemore flips to Buckner, 2 down. And Willie Montanez. Here's the pitch. Wheelhouse, 12. Wheelhouse 12. Oh, just missed being a deep drive. Hits off the wall. And ricochets Dave Kingman after it. And that's Montanez in at second with a double. 2-out double for Montanez. Missed a home run by 1. It doesn't look like a 12. I don't know. Is that? Yeah, it is a 12. All right. Missed a home run by 1 number. Went up to 11 right there. So it's a double for Montanez. He's on at second base. Montanez is not a speedster. And we don't pinch run for him because he's an essential part of the offense. And your question is what offense? And my answer to you is that's a good question. I don't know because we're 10 or 15 games below 500. I have to look at that. Probably next game I stream, I'll bring up but we're close to what we really were in actuality. The Mets lost 99 games, so I don't play this to win games. That's for sure. Just to kind of see if I could remain competitive. So with 2 outs in the top of the 7th in a 1-1 game, Steve Henderson steps in the box. Rick Reuschel looks in for the sign, and here's the pitch. And that's a 4. That's Patience 60. Patience 60, and that's a hit by pitch. So Henderson gets plunked, and he's not happy about that. He's still on the ground. The trainer's going to run out, and out comes Joe Torre. We're going to see what's going on here. He may leave the game. It looks serious. And there's somebody in the dugout. Looks like Beauclair's got a helmet on. But no. Henderson is insisting. He looks like he's telling coach, "I'm okay, I'm all right," and he's running down at first. So he's going to stay in there. And now Torrey's saying something to the umpire, and then I don't know what it is. Probably that wanted to walk Henderson to pitch to Flynn, and now they're barking back and forth from both dugouts. Okay, so it's Doug Flynn steps in the box. Rick Reuschel the pitch, and that's an 8. That's in play 75. That's going to be an out. Fly to center field. Jerry Martin puts it away, retires his side. The Mets had something going there, 2-out double by Montanez, but failed to capitalize. Craig Swan against. Wow, wouldn't it be great if we had a double complete game here? That's the great thing about 70s and early 80s ball. The Forgotten Era. I was reading a great article on the 80s the other day. The Forgotten Era. That's a tough pitch, 35. That's going to be line drive, base hit by Ted Sizemore. So Ted Sizemore on with a single. And it's going to be Rick Reuschel who's going to bunt. Reuschel is a C bunter. And that's a successful sacrifice. The catcher over to second baseman Flynn. Stearns to Flynn. And running the second is Sizemore. So 1 out now. 2-4. Now Sizemore, is Sizemore a base stealer? No. All right. So Sizemore's on at second base in the bottom half of the 7th. Craig Swan looks in for the sign. Ivan De Jesus steps in the box. De Jesus is a 287 batter versus righties, and he's 3 for 3 in this game. Here's the pitch. And that's a 7. That's tough. A tough 76. And that's a fly ball lifted to shallow center field. Back goes Taveras. In comes Mazzilli. Mazzilli makes the catch. Gets it in quickly. And 2 out now. Scott Thompson. Here's the pitch to Scott Thompson. It's a 9. It's ballpark 40. Ballpark 40 puts it in the wheelhouse. Wheelhouse is 1-38. 1-38, the Cubs go up. And that's a 36. So that's going to be a single. Runner on second scores. RBI single for Scott Thompson. And the Cubs now lead at 2-1. Now Thompson may run. We're going to see what we do with that. And he does not. So the next batter is Bill Buckner. Here's the pitch to Buckner. 7, tough, 30-something or other. 36. A tough 36, and that's going to be a base hit for Buckner. And Thompson is going to hustle over to third because he's a 6 or more, and he's a 7. So Thompson hustles over to third, first and third, and it's Dave Kingman. I'm not pulling Swan right here. He's only allowed 2 runs, so he still has his official card rather than a fatigue card. At 3 runs, he would get a fatigue card. Here's a pitch. It's in play, 77. That's going to be an out. And that's guy to Mazzilli in center. Mazzilli puts it away, and that retires the side. But the Cubs, a big but, the Cubs come through with a run here in the bottom half of the 7th. They lead it going to the top of the 8th. Leading off is Craig Swan, 2-1. We're going to have to pull Swan for a pinch hitter. There goes so much for a complete game for both. And it's going to be Ed Kranepool, our favorite pinch hitter. Ed Kranepool, a longtime Met, been with the Mets since the early 60s. He was a kid from the Bronx originally. And if you talk to Ed Kranepool today, he's a New Yorker, lives in the island, and has a very thick New York accent. Ed Kranepool. After his name on iScore, I actually have PH. So it comes up on the box scores when he pinch hits. All right, here's the pitch to Kranepool. 5, tough, 60. And that's flied out to left field. Kingman, a few steps back, makes the catch, retires Kranepool. Joel Youngblood. And that's a 3. That's Wheelhouse. Wheelhouse 06. Wheelhouse 06, that's swung on and lifted to deep left field. Back goes Kingman to the track, to the wall. It's out of here. Game is tied. Joel Youngblood connects. And you know that Reuschel wishes he had that pitch back. It's 2-2 on Youngblood's home run, and we're going to double check that. 3 is Wheelhouse. 06 on Youngblood's card is a home run. It was actually 1-22. Solo shot. I agree there, OG. Happy days here for the Mets in the Mets dugout. And it's Frank Taveras now. Here's the pitch to Frank Taveras. He's 1 for 3, singled, grounded out, and grounded out. 7 in play, 59. In play 59, that's an out. Fly ball, right field, Scott Thompson. Near the line, makes the catch. 2 away, Lee Mazzilli. Here's the pitch, and that's 6. Tough. A tough 51, and that's a base hit from Mazzilli. Mazzilli singles. Mazzilli's also a threat to steal. Let's see, a 5 or less. We roll a 7. He does not go. And it's Richie Hebner. Here's the pitch to Hebner. Snake Eyes, ballpark. 0-0. Wow. Let's see what happens here. All right. 0-0. Going to pull out that chart. This is the first time we're having to go to the chart with a runner on. Going to roll the 2d6 here. See what happens. 2d6 with a runner on base. It's a 7. That's usually kind of re-roll, check ballpark. All right. If within the wheelhouse, so let's roll for ballpark again. He's a lefty, so it's 1-69, and we rolled an 81, so it's otherwise it's going to be a deep fly. Back goes Martin to the track and makes the catch for out number 3, but the Mets tie it on the Youngblood home run. And after 8 innings of play, or after 7.5 innings of play, it's 2-2. Neil Allen is the new pitcher for the Mets. Neil Allen, who pitched 50 games. He was 6-10 with a 3.55 ERA. Neil Allen's going to be in the 9th spot. Wish I had some water in here. Getting really thirsty. I usually have a bottle of water. All right, we're almost done anyway. 2-2. Jerry Martin, Neil Allen. Here's the pitch to Martin. That's an 8 patient 0-4. That's going to be a base on balls. So Martin is on with a walk, and Martin is a potential threat to steal, but not necessarily. Up. That's a 9, so he does not go. Onaveras. 8 patient again, 85. Patient 85. And that's going to be a ground ball to short. That's a 10 in play. What did I say? Yeah, in play 85. Well, no, that's not a 10, it's an 8. It's a patient. Patient 85 is also ground ball to short. And it's an 8 there, an 8 there. It's a 6-4-3 double play. Taveras to Flynn to Montanez. And that's 2 outs. 6-4-3. Nice double play turned by the Amazons. And it's Barry Foote. Barry Foote is 0 for 3. Here's the pitch from Neil Allen. 5 in play, 77. That's a ball lifted to center, Mazzilli. And that retires the side. We go to the top of the 9th. I'm going to take a quick water break. I'm going to grab a bottle of water from the table. I'll be right back next door. All right, I'm back. Needed that water break. Take a sip. All right. Oh, that tasted good. All right. Here we are In the top of the ninth inning, tied at 2. Mets line score is 2 runs, 7 hits, 1 error, 5 left on base. The Cubs are 2 runs, 10 hits, no errors, and 8 left on base. See what's going to happen here. Reuschel is still in the game for the Cubs, and I'm going to pull up this game so I get some idea of who was pitching here. No. Let's see. Let's pulling up. All right, I don't even have that up now. Don't have that up. Oh, here it is. Yes. Okay. For the Cubs, we're going to see Suter, Tidrow, and Moore. All right. So there's a couple of guys warming up in the bullpen. We know who they are. It's Wheelhouse. Wheelhouse, and this is a cocked eye there. We're going to have, it looks like a 0 and it looks like an 8. See that? It's right in the middle. So we're going to have to re-roll that. See what happens. It's Wheelhouse to Stearns. Stearns is a 1-14 home run, 1-38 hit, so we're going to have to re-roll that one there. And that's a 19. 19, Stearns is a double. So that's driven in the gap, and Martin after it's Scott. And Martin throws it in, but Stearns is in with a leadoff double here in the top of the ninth inning. I don't know how there's all these beetles getting in the house. I don't know how they're getting in the house, but they're all over the place. And I think I know, and I know what to do with them too. Hold on a second. Because they're coming in every night. They're coming in, and I think. All right. Sorry, guys. That was another interruption, but the game's worth it, right? Okay. So Stearns is on with a double, leadoff double here in the top of the ninth inning, and it's Willie Montanez, a lefty. So we're going to go to the bullpen. We're going to bring in Suter, Tidrow, and Moore. Let's take a look at these guys together. These gorgeous cards by Payoff Pitch. Suter's a righty. Tidrow's a righty. Oh, goodness gracious. Now my dog's in here. All right. And we were looking for Moore. Moore may not be available. I don't know that he's in here. I don't see Moore. That's the only guy that I don't have. Let's double check that. Oh, there. Donnie Moore's there. So Donnie Moore, Tidrow, they're all righties. Be nice to have a lefty. But I don't know how much lefty-righty things they did back then. You know, because obviously there's no one lefty that they're using a lot here. There's a couple of lefties on the team, but they're not used more than just a couple of times. Yeah, so we're just going to play, Willie Hernandez. Yeah. Okay, Willie Hernandez is going to face a 1, and then we're going to have to pull him because he's going to face 1 batter. But actually, it's not even worth it because Willie Montanez bats .242 against lefties and .229. So we're just going to bring in the best of the best here, which is, I guess, Bruce Suter. Being that he's at home, he's not going to get a save situation. All right, so Bruce Suter comes in, make it exciting. And Montanez is not a good bunter, so we're not going to bunt with him. Here's the pitch. That's 6. Tough. A tough 39. No, 36. A tough 36 is. Oh, that's a double. That's a double. Look at this. So let's double check that. A 6 is a tough, and a 36 is going to be a double. And the Mets are up 3-2. Willie Montanez, clutch. They call him Clutch, or at least I do right now. Mr. Clutch, Willie Montanez. And Steve Henderson with Montanez at second. Here's the pitch. Actually, we'd like to have a pinch runner for Montanez, if possible, even though I don't like replacing him at first base at all. Because I really don't have anybody else to play first. We already pinch hit. You know, Beauclair could play first, but he's terrible. So we're just going to leave Montanez, let him run. Bunting with Henderson is what we're going to do. He's a B bunter, and that's a potential error. So an error on the catcher, we're going to roll. I remember he was a 2. So anything a 3, 4, 5, or 6 is going to be an error on the catcher, and it's a 3. And we'll double check all that real quickly, but the 2, I remember it being a 2. He is a 2 error rating. So on a bunt, this is the second time or the third time we're looking at a chart, and that's for a bunt. Okay, bunt E. Roll 1d6. If higher than the E rating on the fielder, let me look there. If higher than the E rating, one base error, batter safe at first. If equal to or less than, it's a sacrifice hit. Okay, great. So it's an E2, and Willie Montanez is going to be at third base now. And at first is going to be Steve Henderson. So it's an E2 error catcher. Same error and same error. All right. Now we may get a pinch runner for Montanez. And it's going to be, who's my fastest runner? You know who's my fastest runner? A guy named Kelvin Chapman. Not totally sure if Kelvin Chapman's still around, though, with the Mets. I haven't seen him lately. I look at all, let's see if he played. I don't see him at all anymore. They kind of settled in with Flynn at second base, and they sent him down. So he's not, oh, you know who's there? Ferrer, but I don't have that card. I don't have a guy named Ferrer. Let me double check. Do I have Ferrer on the second batch? Ferrer. Do not have Ferrer. These are my extra Mets cards that I don't see. If I don't see their names coming up, I'm not using them until I start seeing their names come up in the daily box scores. That's how I do it. So Ferrer's not around. So then I'm going to bring, I know Beauclair's around, so I'm going to use Beauclair to run. I don't think that Chapman's around anymore, so I'm sending him down. And Beauclair's going to run. He's going to take third base, because with nobody out, we need him to score on a sacrifice fly and a ground ball. They're going to bring the infield in. So this is going to be huge here. Now, one of my rules is, unless I override the rule, and I never do, that with nobody out, the runner on third does not go on an infield in grounder. In other words, he holds. Only if he gets through, obviously, then he would go. So that's how I do it with one out, with no outs. With one out, then he does go and he can get thrown out at the plate, and then there could be potentially a double play at first base. All right, so Bruce Sutter on the mound, Henderson on at first, Montanez on at third. The Mets lead at 3-2, top of the ninth. No outs. And what do we do with Flynn here? Do we bunt with Flynn and get Henderson over, or do we bunt with him, then we're losing one opportunity of potentially getting Beauclair in at third. So Beauclair is the pinch runner at third base for Montanez. And he's going to play first base. Okay, so here's the pitch. Infield is in, so let's look at that. Where's that little ticket? Infield is in. Here's the pitch. That's a 5, patient. A patient 97. Patient 97 is going to be a fly ball, and this is going to give us the opportunity, I believe a patient gives you the opportunity to do coach's choice with a runner on third. Now, it's a fly ball to where? 97 is a fly ball to left. Dave Kingman. I don't know that Dave Kingman's known for having a really good arm. And he's got a 7 arm. Beauclair's a 7 runner, so if we roll 7 or less, we score. Otherwise, Kingman throws Beauclair out of the plate. Let's do it. Here's the pitch, or here's the roll. Oh, we got to re-roll that. Oh, it's a 9. He's out. Oh my God. All right, Beauclair is out. Kingman shocks everyone here at Wrigley Field and throws out Beauclair. All right, buddy. Let's go. Come on. You want to go outside? Come on. Come on, let's go outside. Go. Come on. There you go, buddy. There you go. Did you lock yourself in again? Oh, my God. All right. All right, one out. Actually, 2 outs, a double play. That's a double play, so it's a fly ball left field. And then Kingman, what happens to the runner at third? He's thrown out at home, and he's tagged out 7-2 by an amazing throw by Kingman. And runner on first, Henderson, is held up. And now it's the pitcher, Neil Allen, so we're going to get a pinch hitter here. And who do we have as a pinch hitter for the Mets? Hodges. Hodges is a good pinch hitter. He's a lefty. There he is, Ronnie Hodges. Does a lot of pinch hitting for us here. All right. All right, here's the pitch to Hodges. And that's a 3. That's defense. Defense 42. May get a break here. It's going to be error third base on Averis. Let's see what Averis is. Averis is an error at third 2, so that's not very good. A 2 is 51. We rolled a 42, so that's going to be an error on Averis. What kind of error? It's a one base error. So Henderson. But Henderson was running on that, so he's going to go to third. Actually, now he's not going to go to third, not with a ground ball to the third baseman, unless it rolls away into the outfield. So I don't know that happens. So 1, 2, 3, it rolls away to the outfield. We rolled a 5, so it doesn't. All right. So that's going to be a one base error by a third baseman. There. All right. First and second, and it's Joe Youngblood. Here's the pitch to Joe Youngblood with runners on first and second, 2 out. Mets are leading 3-2. Top of the ninth. This is an inning that's going on forever. Patient 53. Patient 53. Look at that. Hit by pitch. Youngblood is plunked. Bases loaded. Boy, this is really becoming a long inning for Suter. And it's Frankie Taveras. Here's the pitch to Frankie Taveras, a 10, tough 31. Oh, that's a wild pitch. 4-2 Mets. Wild pitch, Bruce Suter. In the dirt, nothing Barry Foote could do about that. So Henderson, everybody moves up. Henderson scores, and everybody else moves up a base on the wild pitch by Bruce Suter. He's having a tough inning here. And if you looked at his card, you'd question as to why. I mean, most of it is blue. Blue means tough, and that's pretty good. That's where you get most of your strikeouts. I mean, Suter was 6-6 with a 2.22 ERA and 37 saves. So Frank Taveras is still at bat. Second and third now. It's 4-2 Mets. And here's the pitch again from Suter. And that's a 4. Patient 63. Patient 63 is outrange, and that's going to be a ground ball second base. Sizemore to Buckner. Let's go Mets. That's what I say, Al. Let's go Mets. 4-3, grounder. So Taveras grounds out. That retires the side, but we go to the bottom of the ninth. Neil Allen was pulled, so he won't be there anymore. Who do we bring in? Let's take a look. The Mets in this game had Hassler, Twitchell, and Glynn. Ed Glynn is a guy who just showed up to the Mets halfway through the season and actually plays in almost 50 games. So he's been being used as, he had 7 saves with them. He's a lefty. And they're using him as a closer almost, and he's being called on to relieve in quite a few games. I've seen him pop up every other game at this point in the season. We're at the end of June, beginning of July. So it's going to be Ed Glynn versus Ted Sizemore. Here's the pitch. And that's 12, in play 41. In play 41 versus a lefty. That's way in the out range. It's going to be a ground ball to third. Hebner fires to first, 1 away. Mets are 2 outs away from winning a really tough game. After they lost 4 out of 5, they had a 5-game series with the world champion Pittsburgh Pirates. That did not go well. All right. Pitcher hitting card. That means the pitcher's coming up. So it's Bruce Suter. And we're going to get a pinch hitter. And who pinch hit in this game? Who can help us out? Henderson. Ken Henderson. Mike Vail. All right, let's see. Mike Vail. Where's Mike Vail? There he is. Mike Vail's a righty, and that's perfect. All right. He bats 395 versus lefties with 114 at bats. So that's the guy you want to have if you're a Cubs fan. Do I have any Cubs fans out there? All right, here goes. Mike Vail steps in the box. I'm going to write him in real quickly here. Just tap, tap again, and tap again. He's in. That's how nice it is, right? That's how, once you got I-score set up, that's all you got to do. 3 taps, and you got a pinch hitter. All right, here's the pitch from Glenn. That's a 5 in play 51. In play 51 goes all the way up to 41, but it's not enough. And that's going to be a ground ball again to third base. Hebner to his left throws on the run, and a strike to Bruce Beauclair playing first base now. And it's Ivan De Jesus. Ivan De Jesus versus lefty batted 273. Cubs fan, hell no. So it's 2 outs. Bottom of the 9th. Mets are up 4-2. They scored 2 runs in the top of the 9th to take a 4-2 lead. The Flubs. And it's Ivan De Jesus who batted 273 versus lefties. And here's the pitch from Ed Glynn. And that's an in play 10. And that's line base hit to left. Henderson throws it in quickly. And De Jesus is a threat to steal, and why not? And that's a 5. Oh, just missed a 4. He would have been going. And so De Jesus on at first, and now it's Scott Thompson. Scott Thompson batted 273 versus lefties in 22 at bats. You know what? Let's bring in a pinch hitter here. Let's make it exciting. Who else pinch hit in this game? Oh, I just mentioned somebody. Oh, Ken Henderson. Ken Henderson, I think, has pretty good. There he is. Versus lefty. 1-46 home runs versus a lefty. Wow, look at that. So if we roll a snake eyes, it's wheelhouse. If we roll a 3, it's ballpark and a potential wheelhouse. And that's trouble against lefty right there. So we're bringing in Ken Henderson. So you don't say that I play favorites. Ken Henderson and Ed Glynn is going to handle Henderson for sure. Now, if I really wanted to be, smart, I'd Ken Henderson, we're going to have to write him in. He's not on the roster yet. I think he started the season with another team, actually. Ken Henderson started the season with another team, and then he joined the Cubs halfway through the season. Remember that the trade deadline during these times was June 15th. It's different than today now. I don't know. Now they're trading until the last day of the season. I don't know what's up with that. When you do the jump check, I thought it was roll, a pitcher hold. I'm not sure. You know what? I don't have total control over that, but I think that there's 3 parts to that. That's a good question. That's a good question because I'm still learning that aspect of the game. But I think I'm doing it right, and I'll show you why. Oh, man, I don't have that. I was going to print that out because that's in the rule book, and I can't find the rule book. But there is a PDF of the rule book online, which I just pull up all the time. There's 1, 2, and 3 options. I think the third option is where you look at the pitcher's hold rating. Now, in option 2, I do look at the pitcher's hold rating, but that's only if I roll double 6s on an attempted steal. And that creates a situation where there could be an error by the pitcher. He throws over the first baseman's head, or there's a wild pitch. Okay, so I do use the hold rating. Now, the one I think that you're talking about, and hey, correct me if I'm wrong, is option 3, where you check to get a jump. So that's what I think. So I could be wrong, but I'm still learning that aspect of it. I'm using a pretty simple one. All right. So Ken Henderson's going to bat. Ken Henderson's a switch hitter. I'm going to put him in as a switch hitter. Not that that means anything. I mean, just for aesthetics. All right. There he is, pinch hitter, Ken Henderson. There's 2 outs. Let's get this down here. Runner on first. The tying run is in Ken Henderson at the plate with tremendous power here in Wrigley, especially against left-handers. Ed Glynn is on the mound. Hard-throwing left-hander, 26 years old, with a 1-4 record and a 3.00 ERA in 46 games as a Met, mostly after June 15th. Ivan De Jesus is on at first. Ken Henderson is at the plate. There's 2 outs, 1 on, 4-2 Mets lead it. Here's the pitch. That's a 9. That's patient 60. Patient 60 is going to be line drive into left field. Runner advances to third base. So DeJesus hustles over to third, and it's first and third. So Ken Henderson does his job. Ken Henderson does his job. He singles, and that was a 9, which was Patient 60, and it's going to be a base hit. Double check those. And now it's Scott Thompson's out, and now it's Bill Buckner. All right, so this is it, folks. Let's see what happens. First and third. Tying run is on first base. Winning run is Bill Buckner. Here's the pitch from Glenn. That's a 6. In play 37. In play 37 is going to be an outrange. It's going to be a ground ball third base. And across the diamond. And that retires the side. Game over. The Mets win it. Hebner fires to first and throws out Bill Buckner for the final out. And I'll give you the line score. It was a pretty good game. Mets came back. Mets were winning 1-0 till the 4th, and it was tied. And then 7th, in the bottom of the 7th, Cubs scored a run. Top of the 8th, the Mets came back to tie it, and 2 more. And top of the 9th, they took a 4-2 lead. Line score: Mets 4 runs, 9 hits, 1 error, 7 left on base. The Cubs 2 runs, 12 hits, 2 errors, 10 left on base. Hey, you guys, since you're here, I called Stratomatic today, and I had a talk with a young lady there. Told her, hey, listen, man, you're gonna release these sets. That's great. I have no problem with you releasing these sets, but you've never done it before, and you just came out with 1980. I mean, we've been asking you to release sets for years and years and years. There's a huge demand for these 70s and 80s sets. 1998 goes for $400. There's no reason for us to do that. I told them, listen, just make your whole line available, all right, by PDF. I mean, this is, what year are we in? This is like the Star Trek generation. Just make all your stuff. It's not like your card is any better than what I can print out in my house, and I know it's 2-sided, but you can still print out 2 sides. You set up the program. So you put in one page, and then you turn around, you put in the other page. Give people the option to do that. But there's no reason you can't have everything available. I told them, why don't you try some crowdfunding? She was like, before I said that, she was like, well, you have to take into consideration the ink and the printing and the card and this and that when we create a set. And I said, okay, well, if you're so worried about the ink, then why don't you do crowdfunding? Why don't you put out a 1970 whatever 6 and say, okay, guys, here, we're going to sell it for $40 or $45 or $50. See who wants to buy it. And I told her, pop cards, yes, that you're talking about 2 different worlds. Okay, don't even. I'm not even going to address that comment because, yeah, absolutely. You guys know how I feel about these cards. I mean, this is like glory. But anyway. Going to bed, I told them, look, do a crowdfund where you say 1976, who's interested, and you'll see how. I told them you'd make $5,000 in 2 weeks. You'd have plenty of money for the ink and for card stock, that flimsy card stock that blows in the wind. Anyway, that said, I was nice about it, and I told her, hey, listen, we want to support you. And the excuse and the problem was that some guys, the bad guys that wear the black hats are going to be sharing the PDFs. And I go, you think that's not happening now? You don't think guys have scans of every single season and they're readily available for the asking? But we're not interested in that. We don't want to do that. I mean, it's okay for, one set or one team or something unique that you can't find. But we rather have you guys making the stuff, and you want to keep up with that nostalgia, keep up with that and be loyal to you guys, but you got to produce sets, and you can't do it the way you've done it. Exactly. So I told him, you can't do it the way you're running a flawed business model. You're keeping everything secret. Why? Why are you keeping everything secret? How is that an advantage to anybody? First of all, if you would have told us a year ago, hey, next year we're going to come out with 71, 73, and 77, then guys could have put their stuff up for sale And if guys didn't want to wait till the following year, then they could still get some of their money back. This way, just surprising everybody, I bought 71, I bought 73, I bought 77. I paid $100 for 73, $100 for 77, and I bought $200 for 71. Now you're selling them for $47, so I lost like, I'm not good with math, but I lost like $250. And now what? I got so mad. It's like, and I wasn't even going to play those seasons anyway, probably. I was thinking the other day, I'm never going to get to those seasons. I like late 70s and early 80s. And I have so many projects in mind that I'll never get to 1971 and 1973 because that's not even at the forefront of my mind right now. So anyway, I told him, and you guys can agree with me or disagree with me, but we should have conversations over this because I called him, I told him, get into the modern era. What you did, you just crashed the market for, and I'll explain to you guys what I'm talking about. They crashed the market for Stratomatic car, a second party or third hand or eBay aftermarket, whatever you want to call it, cards. Why? Because guess what? 1998. Who's to say? Who's going to pay $400 for 1998? If who's to say? They're not going to come with in 3 months. They're not going to reprint 1998. Okay, who's to say? Who's going to go crazy? Paying $300 for 1976. Who's to say they're not going to come out with in fall right before Christmas? Who's to say they're not going to come out with 1976 now? They may come out with 76, 78, and 79 in fall, and they're not going to tell us. So now I can't. I'm not going to pay. Never again will I pay anything more than $47 for any of their sets. Okay. First of all, they don't come with all the cards. You know what a struggle it is to find the extra player cards for like 1984. I've been looking for that for a year now. Nobody has it. One guy offered it to me, but it's very, very hard to find 1984 extra player cards. And you're talking about 4 cards per team to bring them up to like 24 players. How are you going to play an actual replay with 20? Yeah, I have the app. I pay for the app every month. I haven't played Stat in 3 months. Haven't played Strat in 3 months. Still pay for the app. Why? Because I want to support the company. I don't mind doing that. Anyway, call all my Strat cards. Yeah, I feel the same way. I feel really frustrated right now, brother. I feel really frustrated with them for doing that. No reason for that. You come out with something that you've never done that before. I mean, they're notorious for never re-releasing anything, right? I mean, you guys told me that. You guys are more expert in Strat cards than I am, and they're known. They're notorious for never releasing anything. You have to wait 10, 15 years, and all that business, 20 years, and all of a sudden, they just sold out of 77 and 73. And guess what? And she was so proud and so giddy. She was like, "Oh, and they're flying off the shelves." Yeah, they're flying off the shelves because they're $47, and guys have been paying $150 or not paying it. They've been struggling and complaining about the prices. And that's why you guys should produce product because, times are tough. The economy is tough, all right? And we can't be, we love this hobby, but we can't be dishing out $200, $300, $400 for flimsy card stock. At least the old sets had really decent card stock. And I love the old sets because I love the font. I love the ink, And I told him to do that too. I told him, why don't you recreate a 1962 the same exact way when it came out and do it as a crowdfund and just put it out there and see how many guys buy it. And if you get $5,000 or $6,000, whatever the heck you want, then make it, produce it, and do that every month. I mean, get into the modern era. Don't be acting like it's the 1960s because it's not the 1960s anymore. Guys can get a photocopy machine and we can get all the numbers we want. I mean, I have 25 of the sets. I can scan them all and sell them all and have a pile of scans in the corner. But who wants to do that? I'm not interested in that. But now it's like they're valueless almost. Now they took all the value. They crashed the whole secondary market. So if you're a guy who's holding a lot of these cards, trust me, I'm never going to buy another $200 or $100 set when I know they're going to come out with that same set. And you never know when they're going to do it. Maybe they will, maybe they won't. And it'll just so happen that the day I buy a $250 set or a $200 set, the next week they're going to come out with that set for $47, and I'm going to feel like an idiot. There's my rant for the night, guys. My battery is dying here. So thanks for stopping by. It's always a pleasure to hang out with you guys. But, hey, I'm trying to support everybody, but don't be wacky, man. Don't be wacky coming out with stuff like that. You know, so give us, put stuff on those shelves, and the demand is there. It's clear that there's demand for all their products, but have them available. Don't play this little game that you're not telling us what's coming out. No, we want to know what's coming out. We want everything to come out. I mean, am I wrong here? I mean, does anybody enjoy these little games? I mean, tell me, am I wrong? I mean, does anybody want to not know what's coming out because they want the excitement in their life? I don't know. Maybe there's some guys that want that, but I don't see what the excitement is. 1980 is like, okay, thank you. That 1980 was being sold out there anyway. So if you really, really, really wanted 1980, I know they had. So the thing is super advanced, right? So a lot of guys have super advanced. They're delusional. A lot of guys like super advanced, and they come out with new super advanced stuff, and guys buy it because they like super advanced, and that's cool. I love that. There's nothing wrong with that. All right, so that's the excitement of these older sets that they never had super advanced for. I understand that, but again, just tell us what you're going to do. Have everything available. We don't have to freak out. We don't have to fight each other. And a lot of times it's like a guy shows up on one of the forums, like on Facebook, and he says, "Oh, I have some sets to sell at $70." I mean, it's like vultures, man. It's like sharks. They're all fighting for it. I'll take them. I'll take them. I'll do this. I'll do that. It gets wild. It gets crazy. It's like, what's going on here? Why do we have to be like this? Just, everybody should have access to these cards. They're just numbers on cards that you have fun with rolling dice. 1976 goes for almost, exactly. That's what I'm saying. It's ridiculous. That's exactly.